How's it, everyone? Hope you're doing great.
My name is John.
And I'm John.
And today we're going to show you guys how to change an AC fan for a 2010 Civic. So my father-in-law contacted me and started telling me that his AC would be operating intermittently.
And what he said was that while the vehicle was, while he was driving it on the freeway, it was working properly, blowing cold AC, but in stop and go traffic, where there wasn't enough airflow getting to the engine, he noticed that the AC wasn't blowing cold air.
So what we troubleshooted it to was we're thinking maybe there's not enough air going through the condenser coils of the AC unit when the vehicle is not in motion.
So here you can see both cooling fans. So what we're gonna do next is see if one of those cooling fans are not working properly. Hey John, turn on the car.
Will do.
As you can see, one is working properly and the other one is not working at all.
I'm going to turn off the AC. Let's see what the fans do.
Go for it. So still, oh, no, both fans are not running now. Turn the AC back on. So as you can see, one fan is operating with the AC on and the other one is not.
So since this fan is not working, you have to be very careful, but I'm going to try to tap on this. And you can kind of see it trying to move. So that's kind of telling me that maybe the fan is dead. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is check to see if we're getting good power to the fan. So right over here, you're going to see a gray connector here. You're going to push down on this little button and you're going to hear a little click and you just pull it right out. Okay. Now we're going to hook up a voltmeter. It could be any type of voltmeter. I like to use Flukes, but we're gonna hook up the ground side onto chassis ground, and we're gonna hook up the red side to the blue wire here. We're gonna pop it right in here. Let me go turn on the AC, and we should see some voltage. Voltage there, John?
Yes, I do. Right about 12.
Right about 12 volts? Okay, I'm going to turn off the AC. What about now?
0.
0 volts. So that's showing that we're getting good voltage going to the fan. Now we'll have to replace it. Okay, so the tools that we will be using for this job is, one is a flashlight in case we lose any of those clips, a screwdriver to help remove clips. We have this pliers. You could use these pliers or a needle nose pliers. We have a socket wrench with 10mm sockets. We have a deep socket and also a regular socket with an extension. Open end wrench, 10mm also, and then a voltmeter. You can use anything out there. This is one of the higher end type of stuff. And this is all the tools that's needed to remove the fan and to diagnose it.
So as you can see, there's these plastic clips that are holding this plastic part together where we're gonna have to remove. In order for you to remove these plastic clips, you're gonna use a flathead to pry, basically disengage the clip from being held down, and then slowly right off. There are plastic pieces that do over time start to kind of break off, so you just gotta be gentle with it. And for these ones here, you just pry from bottom and it pops up. Fairly easy to replace, so in case you lose, as you can see, we'll probably lose a few. Oh!
Just like that. That's how we do it. And that's where the plastic piece was.
Generally, like I said, they're plastic, so be careful with it. So it looks like. Put this piece here. Disengage it. Take it out. I'm missing one here, so looks like we're good. We're ready to go ahead and pull this apart. So what I first do is get this lip piece out. Do that on both sides. And now it's just a matter of getting this plastic lip, which is underneath this chrome piece, out. So, see, so thumb just kind of wiggle it loose. Now as it's loose, we just gotta get it off of this hood lock. Like so. There you go.
Good work. Good work. So now that we got that hood piece, it kind of opens this whole area for us to take a look at. So currently we have a bolt right here and another bolt right here that we have to remove. So there's the fan, and so John is going to start removing those bolts.
So you're going to take a 10mm socket to this.
And as you can see, he has the extension. That's so we can easily get the socket in there. Remember the righty tighty, lefty loosey? I almost forgot it just now.
So what I do is I want to just loosen it so I can then follow the removal with my fingers to prevent the bolt from falling into the engine bay. These are pain to fish out, so just want to take your time.
Looks like you need a manicure or something.
Yeah, well, see, maybe with enough of you subscribing, maybe I can afford one. Alright, so now we got the two bolts on the top off. So you'll notice that it's still obviously engaged and locked in place on the bottom. So to get to the bottom out, there's these nipples on each end that basically is secured to the frame of the vehicle, and so it's just a matter of just slowly wiggling it back and forth and lifting it.
And the fan should come out.
There we go.
Now, one thing that you did forget about is you have to unclip that wire right there. So what John is going to do is get a pair of pliers.
Like so.
Again, we have some huge pliers. If you get needle nose, it'll be a much easier job, but again, if you guys subscribe, maybe we can start affording something like that.
So you just squeeze from the underside.
So let me see.
Like so.
Okay, so he's underneath it.
Gently squeeze and pull up.
Were you able to get it?
Well, if I did, it'd be out, so no.
So you're taking kind of long for this one.
Yeah, well, maybe if we had needle nose pliers, it'd be a little bit easier.
Okay, I think it should be a ginger squeeze to get that thing out. You don't want to force it out. Yeah. Okay, so this is what makes jobs take a very long time when it's supposed to be a very quick job.
Got it.
And he got it.
No, I mean.
Oh. And he does not have it.
There we go.
Okay.
So let me
let's
show
do-
you what I did. So what was happening was, as I was squeezing it this way, which wasn't pulling in on these pins. So after a few attempts, realizing I wasn't grabbing onto it, I went ahead and twisted this to get it to the position where I was able to then squeeze down on it and pull up.
And it came out really easy once you got that, correct?
Yes, it did. Okay, so now that we have this off, we disengage the bottom piece, we should be able to just carefully lift and remove this cooling fan out from the engine. These pieces can be a little sharp in the engine, so we do recommend for all of you out there to use a pair of gloves for protection. So it's a small, or it's a very tight space here to maneuver or to pull this fan out. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this cover, or at least loosen it to allow us a little bit more play. So again, we're going to take a 10 millimeter to this.
And so this is a very tight corridor, so yeah, we tried pulling out the fan without removing this and we're unsuccessful. So for this plate, all you have to do is remove 3 bolts. So it's a very easy plate to loosen, and that will give us just enough wiggle room to get the fan out.
Alright, so now that we got these 3 bolts loose or off, got a little more play. See if we can wiggle this fan out. Just like that.
And while you're removing the fan, you want to make sure you do not damage the coils on the inside. So right now, you did a good job. Looks superb.
Perfect. So out with the old and in with the new.
So we had to go to the auto parts store and we were able to buy an automotive cooling fan. Part number IDC FA70295. This fan is specific for the passenger side fan. So you gotta make sure you buy the right fan. So all it is in here is some foam and the fan. What's great about this fan is it already has the connector. There's some fans where you could get it where it's just a wire, but I'd rather pay the extra money and have the connector already on there so I don't have to do any splicing. This one costed me about $98. Okay, so now that John removed our dirty fan, this is the OEM that came from the car, and this is our aftermarket fan. So as you can see, they're almost identical. They have the same bolt patterns here. And if you flip them over, has the correct connector locations, has the little spots. So you can place that wire that John was having a hard time popping out. And it also has the shields. So pretty much identical fan. So this is what we're gonna be installing into the vehicle.
On the bottom, I was saying is that those 2 nipples located right here. So these pieces are gonna go into the engine chassis.
And one thing about these fans is always follow the caution, keep hands clear. When you turn on the vehicle, you never know when these fans are going to turn on, so be careful. Okay, so now we're gonna install this back into the vehicle. So it's pretty much the reverse order that we took it out. So first, we're gonna push this inside. Again, be careful to not hit the coils, and also maneuver this piece that's in the way as much as you can. So it takes a little tilt. And then you just slide it in very carefully. When you get it in, you have to put it into the two little slots all the way at the bottom. And there it is. It's in the slots. Oh, nope. Do not put it in the slots just yet. You have to put it underneath this lip down here. Okay. And then bring it back up. Okay, so let's go back to what we just did. We put in the fan, we put in the 2 bolts onto the radiator, and then we also put the 3 bolts on this shield. So now before we put on the black piece that goes right on top of here, we're gonna actually test to make sure that the fan was the culprit.
Okay, so we went ahead and secured the fan. We went over the bolts to make sure that they're installed properly. Now we're going to go ahead and start the engine to make sure that that's the issue and that the fan is now working. Alright John, hit it.
Okay, will do.
As you can see, the fan is now operating. Looks like you fixed the issue. Turn it off. The AC has been turned off. You can see the fan is turned off as well. AC turned on, fan running. Nice! Now we got some cool air running through the system right in time for summer.
Okay, now that we've double checked that both fans do turn on when we turn on the AC unit, now we're going to put on the plastic cover. So John's going to show us how that works. So first, you got to slide the lever through the plastic cover, and the hardest part about putting on this cover is fitting it under this lip where the chrome piece is. Just be very ginger. You don't want to be breaking any of these plastic parts and then have to buy anything else. So as John did, and then make sure all the other parts are secured underneath. Okay, now that the plastic piece is in, so a couple of things that you want to make sure of is that you got the overlap here. You got the plastic piece underneath the chrome all the way around. And then on this side, you also have that overlap here. And from there, you can start installing the clips.
Go.
And then one last clip.
There you go. It's
Okay.
secured in place.
And that is how you put on the molding. Today we've just shown you how to change the AC fan on the 2010 Honda Civic. It takes roughly around 45 minutes to 1 hour for someone that's never done it before.
So thanks again for watching. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, comment below. We'll catch you on the next video. And remember, if we can do it, so can you. Chee-hoo!